What it is. What it is. Sorry. what what's hey, what's going on? We are reporting from the bowels of the Iran war. And if there's anything else going on in the world, let me know. Apple's releasing a new computer. It's kind of exciting, actually. I guess we could talk about that. But otherwise, and I think that happened today. So we can talk about that. Hello, everybody present and who will be present in the future. We are into day 12 of the Iran war, our second day of being live talking about it today. There are some developments today. There are more attacks from Lebanon. Mainly, the most important thing is that Iran has come out and set their demands, which I had heard rumors about. So Iran is ready to tell us how we can get out of the war or how they'll stop doing what they're doing right now. We have entered a war without planning for it against a country that's been planning for it for 40 years. So it's not going well. It's just not going well. It's not going well at all. We're desperate to get out now. We're desperate to get out. Israel even isn't really that interested anymore because they realize that their objectives are impossible. We set objectives which are unattainable without being at war literally forever. So it's pretty exciting. I came out on the side of Iran. I've always liked that country. Persia. Very nice people there. And it looks like they won already, although Trump said today that we won. So he actually had his mission accomplished moment today in Kentucky. So I'll play that for you. I'll play you all the things Trump is saying. He blamed the war on Kushner. So I'll have that clip for you. He blamed the war on Kushner. Kushner and Witkoff apparently were totally clueless in their negotiations with Iran. So I'll get into that. They didn't know anything that they were talking about. Witkoff says he has no idea how the war is going to end. We are probably going to see the destruction of our economy before it's all over, because the demands that Iran is making are ones that are going to take some pain, quite a bit of pain, for us to agree to, most likely. So I'll tell you guys about that. Yesterday, CNN reported that they are mining the Strait of Hormuz. So the Strait of Hormuz is, it isn't even officially closed in a way. Fox News says it's not closed at all. I'll play you that. The new supreme leader has not made a statement yet. It's not clear how well he's doing. So he's apparently been injured in some kind of attack. But there are they've been stockpiling supreme leaders for a long time. So there are many, many ayatollahs in line after the next ayatollah goes down. So we've struck 5,500 targets. Trump says that there aren't that many targets left. So it's going to be very interesting. For those of you who are hoping for a massive strategic failure by the United States, that's what we appear to have gotten in this journalist's opinion. Or journalist? Don't know if I can give myself that qualification. In this guy's opinion, this retard's opinion, it looks like it will go down in history as one of the worst blunders in American history, worst strategic blunders in American history. But people do not realize that yet. It will take much higher gas prices first, 401ks crashing, and then they will probably be upset about it. Iran is ready to go on indefinitely, and we don't have that many targets left, and maybe we'll have to have a draft Maybe we'll have to have a draft. I guess that's something to look forward to. Maybe we'll have to have a draft before we end this stupid conflict. So anyway, gas, I drove by the gas station here, just so you know, in California. My local town is not the cheapest to buy gas because it's remote, kind of. $5.99 already for me if I want to fill up at the good gas station in town. It's already $5.99 here in California. I predict that before it's over, I might see $8 here at my local gas station, probably before it's all over. I saw $7 during the Biden administration here in California. I saw $7 at expensive gas stations. Here we're already at $6. Diesel is much higher than that. And the gas, natural gas is a big problem for Europe because they get a lot of their natural gas from the Middle East, and that seems to have been shut off as well. We have a threat today. The FBI issued a warning today that the American homeland is actually under threat from Iran. So the FBI warned people here in California, actually, right where I am. So I could get hit by an Iranian drone, according to the FBI today. Although some California agencies are saying that that's bullshit. But it was announced today that the American homeland is under threat from Iranian drones coming to the West Coast. So I'll show you that warning. Let's see what else. Oh, so I'll give you the list of demands. I don't know how long these updates will be, especially if I go every day, because I can't repeat myself from yesterday. Yesterday's show, we talked about the totality of the conflict and why we've lost. Basically, Iran now is in a position which they could have put themselves in at any time, but waited for us to attack them before really doing it. They had threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz before to punish us, but now that they did it, and it seems totally clear at this point that they can maintain the closing of the Strait of Hormuz indefinitely. Again, absent us going in with some kind of 1,000,000+ man army, taking over Iran, occupying it, and putting in a completely new government, anything short of that, and they can maintain the Strait of Hormuz being closed indefinitely, and they are happy for oil prices to go up to $200 a barrel. Right now, they're at 90 some dollars a barrel. Oil is surging at this time. I should have held on to my position. I bought some oil today because I think the price is going to go up a lot. And I think I might actually buy a bet on it as well tomorrow, because I don't see how it gets better anytime soon, given what Iran wants to do. Mike H says, any update on lobster bots? There is an update from Perplexity, which they're launching something called personal computer, which is what the lobsters do. Perplexity is launching something called personal computer that can run on a Mac, that you can communicate with from anywhere, that can run any app on your Apple computer. So people are buying Mac Minis. Like, that's what I'm running on right now, is Mac Mini. And I have a lobster running in a virtual machine who doesn't do anything because I'm not smart enough to figure out what to tell it to do. But they are launching, other companies are launching things that are similar and probably safer than lobsters. Lobsters are not safe because they can be compromised and give away all of your data. So, all right, we'll give you the updates. We'll give you what Trump's saying and stuff. We'll play stupid video, funny video, stupid video. Oh, also today it was announced that we were responsible for killing a bunch of girls. I don't know if people care. Trump doesn't care. I don't know if people care. We did kill all the girls at the school. It might have been targeted by AI. It might have been targeted by AI. The girls' school, so we can already maybe blame AI for civilian deaths. So I have the news on that and Trump reacting to the news, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And we'll look in the chat. These are sometimes called War and Chill or World War III and Chill. So we will look at the chat for your comments, and we will try to do a very professional show. All right, you guys ready for the intro? I'll play it. Here we go. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is. Joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, and I bring you the news, the real news.
A team! Sean! We're going to war, soldier! Well, you are, not me. It's time to get boots on the ground!
It's Jeffrey's War. Are you a pathetic gooner looking for love?
Aren't we all? Well, we've got plenty of ladies.
And they're just waiting for liberation.
All you have to do is beat our challenge.
It's time to roll the die on your lives!
Let's see what these boys won. It's crippling PTSD and higher gas prices.
A brand new luxury casket!
You answered C, and you are correct. Do you have what it takes to play with Jeff Correct?
We want you to play Jeffrey's War. Check your local TV listings.
A team!
Oh, the anti-Semitism is so rampant on this channel. I don't know. For people who just tune in for the anti-Semitism, I don't have enough of that today. Apparently, Israel is getting hit very hard, for those of you who like to see that. And part of the demands, some people say, of the Iranian regime is the destruction of the Zionist state, that they won't stop until Israel does no longer exist. So that's good. There are reports that there have been lots of bombs falling on Israel. So that's kind of nice for people who feel that way about that particular state, the Zionist state. Lots of bombs have hit targets, that many thousands. Apparently, Israel turned off the camera, or Israel has some kind of regulation where you have to turn off the camera during missile attacks. So Rid Cox says, dude, MAGA is 100% against eating children. Unless Donald J. Trump is the one eating them, then eating babies is based in red pilled. Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you something that's my first post after the Jeffrey Epstein video is exactly about that. First, I'm obligated to tell you how to support this show financially. If you want to see it more often, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. It is constantly scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil is a great way to support content creators. They take nowhere near 30%, and they pay on a regular basis very quickly. Much, much better than YouTube super chats, which could take literally months to pay out, and then they take 30%. Although we are in communications with YouTube about reactivating the monetization feature of this channel. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil is a great way to support the show. And you can do it at any time, even when the show isn't live, and every day at the end of every show, I check for coffees and I will read your comments. And the show is powered by coffee. We do drink expensive California coffee every day, and so require your support for the fuel that this show runs on. Buy me a coffee.com/lifttheveil. You can also buy t-shirts, which we still have in stock, right here at truthclothing.io, which is also scrolling across the bottom of the screen at all times. You can buy these shirts, which we still have a few left. We have many cryptocurrency shirts, Bitcoin Saves, Crypto Future. We have a few Pirate Chain R shirts. I stole one of those for myself yesterday. HODL. We have many of those. We have some Freedom of Face shirts from the mask days. Those are made in America with cotton grown in America, or organic cotton grown in America. We even have kids sizes. We have Last American Vagabond t-shirts. And then in women's styles, we have many Question Everything Last American Vagabond shirts remaining in female styles. And they're very nice. They're Bella and Canvas. Super high quality. Everything on the site is extremely high quality and priced to sell. Liquidation sale, going out of business sale, $5 and $10 for almost all of the items on this website. So go check it out at truthclothing.io. That's another great way to support the show and get yourself something you need, which is clothing. Inflation free. Totally inflation free. You can buy it's probably will be worth more in the future. It probably has to be worth more in the future because people would have to pay more than $10 for a piece of clothing, no matter what it says, because people require clothing. That's one of the things we require because we don't have full body hair and stuff like apes. So we need clothing to go outside. Otherwise we're unsafe. It's unsafe and unseemly. People require, like, people don't like it when I go to the coffee shop and I forget that to get dressed first. When that happens, it's very everybody hates it. Everybody is very offended when I forget to get dressed in the morning. So clothing, I can tell you from experience, is a requirement. Russ Cole says, why is the U.S. attacking Iran? Very good question. With several different explanations. The explanations now are three, I believe. Missiles and drones. We'll put that together. Missiles and drones. Navy and proxies. Those are the three reasons now. Nukes, we don't talk about it anymore. It's not even on our target list to strike the nuclear facilities. So that is no longer one of the mission objectives, apparently. The mission objectives are to get rid of their missiles and drone program, which we haven't done at all, to stop them from supporting proxies, which they just told Hezbollah to attack Israel, and they did. So they are still in communications and still dealing properly with their proxies. And then the Navy, which apparently we've mostly eliminated. But of course, it's still possible for them to rebuild another Navy. Oh, and they have a bunch of boats underground, which I'll show you. They have a bunch of things hidden in tunnels, which we can't get to. So none of our goals have been achieved. And still Donald Trump says today that we won. He says that we won, actually. So good luck with that. All right. You ready to start seeing things? Someone said that MAGA would support eating babies if Trump said that he ate babies for his like strength, which maybe he does. Do you guys think he does? I don't think he does. I don't think he actually eats babies for strength, but some people do. Definitively, that's a conspiracy theory that's been proven. Some people eat babies for strength, and they have to be frightened first to get the adrenochrome going through their blood, and then they're killed, and the blood is immediately consumed by some people. There's proof of that, indisputable proof that happens. Indisputable. That is not a conspiracy theory. That is a fact. People eat babies for their power. Yes. All right. So he said, that person said MAGA Republicans would support that if Trump said he did it. So the Senate Republicans yesterday put out this misleading statistic, which says that 94%, if you don't look closely, it looks like 94% approve of Operation Epic Fury. Epic, they actually don't call it epic failure. They call it epic mistake in Iran. Epic mistake. I think epic failure is what I would call it. Epic failure is what I would call it. Iran will emerge much stronger than if we had never done it. 94% of MAGA Republicans, it says, of MAGA Republicans approve of Operation Epic Fury. And this actually got community noted, which says this poll only includes Americans that identify as MAGA Republicans. It uses fine print to trick the reader into believing widespread support for the war in Iran. Only 25% of Americans support the war in Iran as of March 2026. And another poll came out, said it's like 29%, but it's something like 7% of Democrats. Some Democrats support it, especially ones that are on TV and support Israel. Some Democrats actually support it. And probably Chuck Schumer secretly supports it too. But it is misleading to suggest that the American public in general is supportive of the Iran war, and odds for Democrats to take the Senate have gone up a lot since the war started, just like the price of oil has gone up a lot. So that is a statistic that they're saying, MAGA Republicans. But it is an interesting thing to say, because actually a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump, this is the difference. A lot of people who voted for Donald Trump, but would not classify themselves as a MAGA Republican at this time, do not support it. And that would be the people that listen to Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, who have some of the biggest podcasts in the world. So Tucker Carlson, Republicans, and many, many other people who voted for Donald Trump will never, for the time being, probably even support Republican or even vote Republican ever again. So it is misleading to suggest. Apparently Trump is I have no idea what Trump is thinking. He will go down in history. I predict that nothing will be named after Donald Trump. That's my prediction. He wants everything named after him. Airports, the Trump Kennedy Center, The Department of War will probably be called the Department of Defense because it hasn't changed actually officially. The Trump Kennedy Center hasn't officially changed names. It's unofficial. So that will not be the Trump Kennedy Center after he is replaced. And probably he won't even get any airports or ships or anything named after him. He will not be added to Mount Rushmore. It's possible that a Florida airport, they're thinking of naming a Florida airport after Trump. But I don't think by the time this presidency is over that anyone ever will want to celebrate this particular president. It would have been much better for him if he had served one term because of the disaster that is becoming his second term. That's my prediction on how things are going, because he is going to get to be president during one of the worst economic collapses this country has ever seen, most likely, and he won't handle it very well based on how he handles everything else. So I voted for him. I don't regret it. I don't regret voting for Donald Trump. I would not prefer if Kamala Harris was president. She might have done this thing too. She might have, although I don't know. I don't know if she would have done this thing. It was unavoidable that we will experience some kind of economic collapse, in my opinion. So it's just a question of who was president when. But Trump is not clearly not the guy. He doesn't follow through on his promises, and he is completely unreliable. And I think just not as smart as he thinks. Here is what Trump is saying about the Iran war, that it is not a war. It is an excursion to prevent a war.
You just said it is a little excursion, and you said it is a war. So which one is it?
Well, it's both. It's both. It's an excursion that will keep us out of a war, and the war is going to be. I mean, for them, it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
You just said it is a.
Oh my God. These statements will go down in history. So we are witnessing history. We are in a time, excellent time to witness history. So that's good for us. We have the fortunate or unfortunate distinction of being humans alive during one of the most significant time periods ever, mostly because of AI, but also because of this particular thing. But it was very easy so far. I don't know if he knows. I don't know where he's at. I don't know how much of a liar he is or how good at lying he is. He may still be convinced that it has gone well. I'm curious how he responds when it becomes clear that it was an epic failure. So here he is also saying it was an excursion, just a little excursion
Anytime
in Kentucky.
in history, and that number is going to be, when you see the numbers by the end of the year, we did an excursion. You know what an excursion is? We had to take a little trip to get rid of some evil, very evil people. It should have been done for 47 years. They've been killing our people. 47 years. 47 years.
Look, people are really happy. Those are the
history.
the people that attend his rallies are the MAGA Republicans. And those are the people who apparently are not going to vote for Thomas Massie. So I was thinking today, he said in Kentucky today, bad things about Thomas Massie. He was there to talk shit about Thomas Massie today. And Thomas Massie only has a 50, I was going to bet on it today. Right now, Thomas Massie has a 59-cent chance of being the Republican nominee for Kentucky 4. I would like to wager on him to win, but the primary is not for another 69 days. And I'm curious if his odds are going to get a lot worse. Based on my viewing of Newsmax or somebody who was there at this rally, nobody there supported Thomas Massie when they were asking questions. So I am curious how strong the Trump effect is and how strong it will be in 69 days. So I'd like to wager on it. Maybe I will. Maybe I will soon rather than later. But if the Iran in 69 days, the price of oil could very easily be $200. And then Thomas Massie will, and Donald Trump's opinion about things will not be so valuable in 69 days. So it might be a good time to wager on Thomas Massie, who we like very much. Jimmy Berman, get your mind out of the gutter, sir, just because it's 69 days. Yes, 69. 67 would be better. We'll talk about it in 2 days. So we can say 6-7 and go like this, like the kids do, I guess. So it was just an excursion. So it was just an excursion, which has gone perfect so far. And Trump said this at that same Kentucky rally, which might go down in history.
Paducah. And as we take decisive action to stop the threat posed by the terrorist regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury.
Listen to those morons.
Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won. You know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over.
There you go. Operation Epic Failure. I have him talking about the name. Maybe I'll play that next. It wasn't next in my queue. Operation Epic Fury. He picked the name. He picked the name, which he likes very much. Epic Fury. Epic Failure. Epstein Fury. It went well with Epstein Fury, which is, of course, very anti-Semitic. Epstein Fury. Here he is. It was next. It was just almost the next up in my queue. Here he is talking about how he picked the name Epic Fury. That was him saying we won. Very famously, see, I'm old enough. Many of us are old enough to remember that after bombing Iraq for a little while in something that we called shock and awe, we declared victory in Iraq. I think George W. Bush may have been in the plane that landed on an aircraft carrier, or he might have flown it even because he was a pilot for the National Guard during Vietnam, I think. Anyway, he landed on an aircraft carrier, and then they had a banner that said mission accomplished for Iraq. And that has gone down in history as an epic blunder. Him saying we won several times now is probably going to go down in history before very long, in terms of this particular conflict, because actually Iran won, in my opinion. It looks like things could change, but so far Iran actually won. Here is Trump talking about picking the name, Epic Fury.
Regime in Iran with Operation Epic Fury. Is that a great name? Well, it's only good if you win. You know, you can only do. And we've won. Let me tell you, we've won.
Oh, same
You
clip.
know, you never like to say too early you won. We won. We won the bet. In the first hour, it was over. But we won. But they gave me a list of names at general. Sir, you can pick the name you'd like, sir. I said, the name of what? The name of the attack on Iran, sir. And they gave me like 20 names. And I'm like falling asleep. I didn't like any of them. Then I see Epic Fury. I said, I like that name. I like that name. Regime in Iran with
People are brain dead. Those people are completely brain dead, actually. It's true. The people who show up to Trump rallies, I mean, you know, you don't want to make fun of people, but they're all kind of retards. It's always kind of been that way at Trump rallies, to be fair. We don't want to make fun of people, and people supported Trump when it was good. And he's better than Hillary, I think, in a lot of ways. Better than Kamala in almost every way. But still, it is a bunch of retards at those rallies, to be honest, to be completely honest. I mean, they're the salt of the earth, of course, and they go to church and everything, but they're kind of brain dead mostly, and boomers to a large extent. Epic Fury. Epic Fury. Here's Trump talking about how things are going really well. This was this morning. How just things are really good. Oil is going to come down, etc. Here's that.
But it's doing well. The market's holding up well. I figured we'd be hit a little bit, but we were hit probably less than I thought, and we'll be back on track in a pretty short while. Prices are coming down very substantially. Oil will be coming down. That's just a matter of war. That happens you can almost predict it. I would say it went up a little bit less than we thought. It's going to come down more than anybody understands. Do you have any questions, Peter?
So oil is going to come down. Oil is surging at this minute. WTI oil. Let's check in on it. It is. Oh, wow. It is really surging at this minute, actually. So let's see. I was hoping to bet on it tomorrow, but I'm a little late. I did buy a position today, which is up substantially now after hours, but oil is now surging again. Let's see. I will share this tab instead, and I will move these comments there. So that's oil right now, which it shows is up. Those numbers, I don't know if they're reliable. It shows that it's up almost 8%. But you can see at the end of this chart, it has gone up a lot. Yeah, it has gone up a lot. Yeah, like I think that's accurate. 8% just since the markets opened at an hour and a half ago, pretty much. Oil is up again. So it is going to go up substantially. It's going to go up a lot. So I would... if you want to make some money on it, I think you can probably, based on what Iran is saying and the position they're in right now. Oil is going to go up a lot more. They're targeting $200 a barrel, and it's only at 94 at this moment. This is WTI crude oil, which is up a lot more than Brent at this minute. I don't know why. Brent is only up like 1%. But crude oil, WTI, is surging. So that's all right. People in Texas are going to make a lot of money because they didn't like oil prices being so low. All right, I have to fix the stop screen. I have to reshare the screen. But oil is going to go up a lot before it's all over. And then it'll go down again. But our Navy can't protect the oil. So that's news today, I believe it's reported in the Wall Street Journal, that our Navy is refusing. Trump said that our Navy would escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz if the ships asked for it. While a bunch of ships have been asking for it, and our Navy is actually retreated since this war started because they're afraid of getting hit by Iranian missiles, actually. So the Navy is refusing all requests to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz at this time. The Navy is refusing all requests to escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz. And nobody knows how to get the Strait of Hormuz open again at this time or in the future. Nobody knows how to get it open. And that's 20% of the world's oil. And Iran can tell the Houthis to close the other strait, which they've done before. So it can actually get worse. So right now it's not even that bad. So I don't know. Electricity prices will probably go up too because natural gas is also going up. Fortunately, here in the United States, we make a lot of gas and a lot of oil, which is great. So we're going to be affected less than countries like Europe, which is actually totally screwed because natural gas prices for them have already doubled, I believe. The price of jet fuel has already doubled since the war started. So their airplane tickets are about to get extremely expensive. Airplane tickets are about to get extremely expensive very soon. And I have to travel this summer. So I guess maybe I should book it immediately. So that all is about to happen, apparently. So be ready. Just be ready for it. Fill up regularly, I guess, because gas is just going to go up, I think, pretty much every single day for the foreseeable future. So don't wait till you're on E to fill up. Just go ahead and fill up regularly, I would suggest, because every day I think gas prices will be higher and higher for the foreseeable future. At least you might as well bet on it by filling up your tank. It's not going to get, if oil prices go down, it's not going to be very quickly. Here is Fox News. This is what Fox News is telling people about how the war is going. Jesse Waters in particular.
You can disagree with the war, but not the war effort. We are accelerating these bombing runs and their offensive output is collapsing. You have to look at it honestly, like these two colleagues to my left said. Everything that the Iranians have tried has failed. They tried to have a war of attrition, hunker down, let us run out of munitions and interceptors. That didn't work. They tried to hit the Arab allies. All it did was force them into America's arms. And then they tried to jack up the price of oil so the base felt the pain at the pump and the market could pressure Trump to take a knee. That didn't happen. The market is stabilized. Oil's down to $80 a barrel. And right now the strait's open. It's not completely, but they are moving tankers. And we have things we can do there. We can use
you said so many
ships
things
and
that are
sentries.
false.
We could do escorts, or we could seize Clark Island and then just like turn off their revenue with a little spigot. When Trump and Hegseth say that we're only just getting started, or, oh, they ain't seen nothing yet, that's not saying the war is going to last forever. That's a psyop to the Iranians to say we're holding a lot back. We could be hitting their electrical grids, bridges, oil depots. What we're doing is that they act stupid. We're going to reserve those targets for that punishment. Right now, we're almost executing this war compassionately. This thing could be much, much bigger. The timing of the war is really intelligent because if you see the volley of these drones and ballistic missiles, imagine 5 years from now how much blood and treasure the American alliance would have to spend busting down these barrages to take out the nuclear program. Their goal was to build a shield around it so we couldn't even consider the strike. People have to be a little bit more patient. We took 10 years to nail bin Laden, 2 years for Milosevic, 8 months for Gaddafi, 9 months for Saddam. Hitler died after 6 years. We got this guy in 50 seconds. You have to acknowledge how great that was.
He said so many things that are patently false. So we killed their supreme leader, and that was supposed to be it. We thought that then we would get a friendly supreme leader. So we killed the supreme leader. Now there's another one who's younger, whose father, son, wife, and mother-in-law or something all died during that same strike, and we think he's going to be nice. In 5 years, they'll have a nuclear bomb for 100% certainty at this point, unless things drastically change, which would require something that we're completely unwilling to do. They will have a nuclear bomb because there's no reason for them not to get one now. It doesn't matter which Ayatollah they put in. They'll put in Ayatollah. They have stockpiles of Ayatollahs who are now completely controlled by the IRGC. So they'll build a nuclear bomb. The war of attrition he says the war of attrition hasn't worked. Well, it's only been 12 days. The war of attrition is still ongoing. We just had to go and get our defensive missiles from Asia. So we are going to retrieve we already are worried enough about running out of defensive missiles that we're having to cannibalize them from other strategic locations around the globe. So we're dismantling THAAD in South Korea and moving that to the Middle East. And then we're taking Patriot missiles from other Asian countries already. So the war of attrition, obviously, it's only been 12 days, and we're already having to move resources from other places. Imagine a month from now. A month from now, we won't have any defensive weapons anymore, and we make them so slowly that they're as to be meaningless. Israel is screwed too. Their Iron Dome already doesn't work, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse the longer things go on. They're just going to run out. We're going to run out of defensive munitions, no matter what they say. Trump said we have munitions to last literally forever, which we don't. And we're no longer an industrial power, so we can't make them fast enough. So the war of attrition is going great as far as Iran is concerned. They can just keep lobbing drones, missiles. We haven't stopped the drones and missiles. And it doesn't seem like we're able to. They have a bunch of them stored in mountains and tunnels, which we can't get to. So they can continue forever, and we can't. So that's Jesse Waters. He's great. As if killing the Ayatollah was winning. As if killing that Ayatollah is winning. Okay. It has been reported today officially by the United States government that we were probably responsible for blowing up a school and killing 175 people, most of them elementary school aged girls, on the very first day of the conflict, with some of our very first strikes with one of our weapons, a Tomahawk missile, which was caught on camera, which other people don't have. So that was announced today that we did that, which is a war crime. It was an accident, but it was a war crime. And Trump was informed about that today. Here's what Trump said about it.
A new report says that the military investigation has found that the United States struck the school in Iran. As Commander-in-Chief, do you take responsibility for that?
That is what?
As Commander-in-Chief, do you...
For what?
For the strike on the school in Iran. A new report says the military investigation has found it was the United States that struck the school.
I don't know about it. Are you the president? How do you respond to that?
That's his response. I don't know about it. That's his response today. I don't know about it, he said, and moved on. I don't know about it. We need to apologize and give them a bunch of money for that, like the families and stuff. for killing their girls, which I guess we'll have to do. There was a different opinion from Senator John Kennedy, who's a Republican. He talked about the school strike on CNN yesterday.
Though you actually talked to NBC News last night about that strike on the girls' school, and you said it was terrible. We made a mistake. I'm just so sorry that it happened. Why did you feel like it was important to say that?
Because I think it's the truth. I mean, we're investigating, but I'm not going to hide behind that. I think it was a terrible, terrible mistake. The investigation may prove me wrong. I hope so. The kids are still dead, but I think it was a horrible, horrible mistake. I wish it hadn't happened. I'm sorry it happened. Yeah, I can assure you it wasn't intentional. That's the sort of thing Russia does. We don't do that. But, you know, I don't see any other possible explanation. And when you make a mistake, you ought to admit it. Most people understand no one's perfect. But I don't think our men and women who are fighting for us did it intentionally. I'll never believe that.
Fair enough. So speaking of the men and women that are fighting for us, I want to.
There you go. So that's Kennedy talking about it, at least. Yeah, we'll have to issue a formal apology, I'm sure, and probably offer some money for the families of those children that we killed. So that happened. Also, our casualty report, people are saying it's a lot higher than it was. I mean, apparently the soldiers, I think it was in Kuwait mostly, a bunch of them are in hospitals around the world right now getting intensive treatment. It was at least 140 injured soldiers, and apparently a lot of them was really bad. So we've already had, in addition to, I think, 8 deaths so far. Apparently a lot of soldiers have been injured, and a lot of them pretty badly. So, and they're still receiving intensive care in hospitals like in Germany and the United States. Apparently medevac helicopters are flying in round the clock. That's the story, at least. Here's Trump saying, we sunk an Iranian ship with a torpedo. And that was in the videos, the propaganda videos they put out about how awesome that was. That boat was completely unarmed and had been invited to participate in some kind of military drill in India by us. And we blew it up, even though it was completely unarmed. And we blew it up and all the soldiers on board. Here he is talking about blowing up boats. Let's see.
The Navy is gone. It's all lying at the bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it? In fact, I got a little upset with our people. I said, what quality of ship? Excellent, sir. Top of the line. I said, why did we just capture the ship? We could have used it. Why did we sink them? They said, it's more fun to sink them. I said, they like sinking them better. They say it's safer to sink them. I guess it's probably true. But
everybody laughed.
The Navy is gone. It's
more fun to sink
at
them.
The bottom of the ocean. 46 ships. Can you believe it?
More fun to sink and kill people. So, and everybody laughed too. So that's good. That's a nice thing. Reporting on Kushner and Witkoff saying they're morons and weren't smart enough to understand the technical part of what they were being. Iran, before we struck them, we were tricking them with fake negotiations because they were pretty much telling us they would do everything that we said we wanted them to do. One of the things they said they wanted to do was use their Tehran research reactor for nuclear power. And Witkoff and Kushner claimed that Tehran research reactor would actually be used for weapons, when the fact is that research reactor had no capability of enriching uranium at all. So that is being reported by MS Now. So there was a claim that they were offering pretty much everything we wanted. I think they said they were going to get rid of their highly enriched uranium. They're willing to enrich at super low levels. They were just going to use it for nuclear power. And Kushner and Witkoff said that this research reactor would be used as a front to make nuclear weapons when, in fact, that's technically impossible. And they didn't even understand that. So that's the reporting from yesterday on Witkoff and Kushner. So Trump is actually blaming Kushner and Witkoff for him starting the war. So I guess that's this clip here.
The situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco, so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they would, if we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And the situation.
So there you go. So they're still going with that line that even though the Department of National Intelligence, I think it is, that's headed by Tulsi Gabbard, said that there was no intelligence that suggested that they would strike us first. It would be completely out of character for Iran. Apparently the guy that we killed was the nice guy who was actually who didn't want to build nuclear weapons and wanted to do peaceful uranium enrichment. Apparently he was the nice one that we killed. So now we're probably not going to get that. Here's Witkoff saying they has no idea how the war is going to end. Let's see.
So how do you see this ending, this war?
I don't know, Sarah. I know this, that President Trump is the wrong guy to go up against. That's what I know.
So how do you see this ending, this war?
I don't know,
I don't
Sarah.
know, he says. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how it's going to end. Nobody knows. There was a Democrat, Chris Murphy, I think he's a senator, who was in a meeting about the war and said a bunch of things about it, which I think are basically true, which is that we can't achieve any of our objectives, which is what I said yesterday, which is why it's Operation Epic Failure. We actually are unable to achieve our objectives no matter what. So here he is talking about that.
I just came from a 2-hour closed-door classified briefing on the war. It just confirmed to me it's totally incoherent. We are not going to be able to achieve any of our stated objectives. But I mention it because it's another closed-door briefing. We have still not yet heard a full explanation as to why this is necessary. We still have had no hearings in front of Congress that the public can see. And I think that's pretty simple, because if the president did what the Constitution says, come to Congress to get authorization for this war, he wouldn't get it. The American people would demand that their member of Congress, their senator, whether they be a Republican or Democrat, vote no, because this is a disaster of epic proportions. It's already getting Americans killed. It's driving up prices here at home. Harder line leadership, more antithetical to U.S. interests, are strengthening inside Iran. And there's really no way that we're going to be able to destroy their nuclear program, because most of it is buried underground, unless we mount a ground invasion, which would be even more disastrous and more unpopular. This has just been a debacle, a 10-day debacle. And we're going to use whatever leverage we have in the Senate to try to prompt those hearings, to try to prompt that vote, and to get this administration to start paying attention to the Constitution.
There you go. He says our objectives are unattainable unless we put in ground troops. I guess that's the caveat. Unless we put in ground troops and take over the country, which would take, I guess, decades. Here's what he said about it. 2-hour briefing. Okay. Maybe the lead is that the war goals do not involve destroying Iran's nuclear weapons program. That is not a goal of this war. At this time, they don't talk about it anymore. It does not involve destroying Iran's nuclear program because it's impossible. because it's all too deep underground, and we would have to have a full-scale ground invasion. So that was supposedly one of the goals. That is no longer a goal. Second, they confirmed regime change is also not on the list. Same regime is going to be in charge. So what are the goals? It seems primarily destroying lots of missiles and boats and drone factories. But the question that stumped them is what happens when you stop bombing and they restart production? They hinted at more bombing, which is, of course, endless war. That's all we've gotten ourselves into. And on the Strait of Hormuz, they have no plan. I can't get into more detail about how Iran gums up the strait, but suffice it to say right now, they don't know how to get it safely back open, which is apparently true. They have no idea how to get the Strait of Hormuz open. So that's where we're at. I think those things are all true. It's all things I kind of said yesterday. We're not going to get rid of the nuclear program. It's not even a goal. We're not doing regime change. That's also not a goal. And our goal of getting rid of missiles is fine, but we can't bomb everything. And they have missile production facilities that are deep inside of mountains that we can't bomb. We don't have any, even Trump said we don't have more targets. And the targets we have, production facilities and stuff, apparently those have already been cleared out everything's been cleared out. It's just empty buildings at this point. So we could bomb production facilities and they're empty. All the machines and everything have already been evacuated. So this is not going great. Lindsey Graham. Okay. Lindsey Graham. Here's what Lindsey Graham says. Let's see.
Up to our allies, step up, get our air bases out of Spain. They're not reliable. Move all those airplanes to a country that would let us use them when we're threatened by a regime like Iran. To our friends in Spain, man, you have lost your way. I don't want to do business with you anymore. I want our air bases out of Spain into a country that will let us use them. To our Arab friends, I've tried to help you construct a new Mideast. You need to up your game here. I can't go to South Carolina and say we're fighting and you won't publicly fight. What you're doing behind the scenes, that has to stop. The double dealing of the Arab world when it comes to this stuff needs to end. I go back to South Carolina, I'm asking them to send their sons and daughters over to the Mideast. What I want you to do in the Mideast, to our friends in Saudi Arabia and other places, step forward and say, this is my fight too. I join America. I'm publicly involved in bringing this regime down. If you don't, you're making a great mistake and you're going to cut off the ability to have a better relationship with the United States. I say this as a friend.
By the time it's all over, Iran is going to demand that our bases, we're going to have to evacuate the Middle East. Jesse Waters said that our Arab allies have rallied behind us. Lindsey Graham is admitting that's not true. They're actually mad at us because we can't defend them. Supposedly we're there to defend our Arab allies. That's why we're there. That's why we're allowed to have bases. But we've shown them that we can't defend them. So they are going to have to reevaluate their relationship with the United States, which might involve us having to totally evacuate and close our bases in the Middle East before it's all over. The thing that they clipped that for is he said he's going to South Carolina to tell his constituents to send their sons and daughters to the Middle East. I'm sure that's going to go really well. Newt Gingrich knows the truth. Newt Gingrich knows that if they keep the Strait of Hormuz closed, we're going to lose. Let's see.
Look, there are three huge challenges that this administration has tackled. The first is that, and they should have frankly moved on this on day one, they have to keep the Strait of Hormuz open.
Yes.
I don't care what it costs. If they can't keep it open, this war will in fact be an American defeat before very long, because the entire world, including the American people, will react to the price of oil if the strait stays closed very long. So I lived through this with Reagan, as you did, in the late 80s. Keeping the strait open is the number one job because it buys you time for the two other jobs. The second job is we're going to discover that the Revolutionary Guard is tougher than we thought it was, better connected, and have at least 200,000 people who are true believers, and they have no future. I mean,
right.
Trump can say unconditional surrender.
Right.
These folks know if they lose power, they have no future. And the third challenge is, how do you arouse and organize the street, the 85 million or so people in Iran who do not want the current regime, but they're unarmed, they're unorganized, and that has to be solved. These three problems are going to decide whether this was a stroke of genius or, frankly, a step into quicksand. And I think that the president has to focus very hard on solving these three issues.
Yes, that's true. The RGC is in control. Strait of Hormuz is going to stay closed for a long time. Trump said that the only deal with Iran is unconditional surrender. That's the only way we're going to leave is unconditional surrender. Since he said that, we have redefined what that means because his press secretary says unconditional surrender is when Trump decides that they're no longer a threat to the United States, which he already has decided we want already. So unconditional surrender is when we decide they don't have to say that they surrender. So here's what they are saying today, actually from the president today. So this is the official word from the president today. Talking to leaders of Russia and Pakistan, I reaffirmed Iran's commitment to peace in the region. The only way to end this war, ignited by the Zionist regime and U.S., is recognizing Iran's legitimate rights, payment of reparations, and firm international guarantees against future aggression. So our demand is unconditional surrender. But now we are the ones who want the war to end as soon as possible to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Basically, that's like everything at this point. We demand that the war ends, and we are going to demand that they reopen the Strait of Hormuz. And then we're also going to demand unconditional surrender, which means that we're also going to try to demand the nuclear enrichment thing, which they're not going to agree to. They're not going to agree to open the Strait of Hormuz. They now are in a position to make all the demands because they're not the ones who want the war to be over at this time. They want the war to continue much longer because they are they have the upper hand right now. They have the world by the balls right now and are in a position to make all of the demands for when they decide to stop. So that's the position we're in as of today. They've officially said the war only stops once their demands are met, which includes that we'll never strike them again, which is our plan was to strike them now, degrade their missiles, decapitate the leader, which didn't work out well, degrade their missiles, degrade their drones, and then we would just leave open the possibility of attacking them in the future forever. Because we destroy their air defenses, we have air superiority and stuff. And then we would just go back and Israel or us or both of us together would just bomb them again and bomb them again and bomb them again. And just keep doing that indefinitely with no repercussions. The first time there were no repercussions. This time we didn't plan for what would happen with the Strait of Hormuz. If the Strait of Hormuz remains closed indefinitely, we're screwed. The whole world economy is screwed, especially Europe, but us too. We can't produce enough oil or release enough oil from strategic reserves to keep the price of oil down. And so they're in complete control of everything right now. We can't get rid of enough drones. We can't get rid of enough missiles. We can't bomb the missile production entirely. We can't bomb the drone production entirely. So no matter what we do now, if we leave, we'll be in the same position 6 months from now, or a year from now, or 2 years from now. And now Iran is demanding that we can never, ever do this again, Israel and America. Those are the demands from Iran. Iran is the one making the demands now, not us. Before the conflict started, we were in a position to make demands. Now that we started the conflict, they're in position to make demands because we're the ones who all the news reporting says wants to get out immediately. So those are some of the demands. There are more demands reported, which this is what Iran has apparently outlined according to this tweet I saw yesterday from David Stockman, which is that Washington is reaching out to many intermediaries. He called Putin, he called Russia, Oman, Turkey, seeking a path toward a ceasefire to rapidly halt the conflict. In response, Iran is saying that there must be an agreement formally written and approved by U.S. Congress, ensuring that no future American president can unilaterally withdraw from the agreement, as happened previously. Like, they might be willing to go into a nuclear deal, but Trump canceled the nuclear deal at the request of Israel that Obama had in place. So number two, a binding and permanent U.S. commitment to never launch a military attack against Iran directly or through proxies. Binding and permanent. The complete withdrawal of U.S. military forces and bases from West Asia, ending the American military footprint across the region. The president didn't say that today, but that may be one of their demands before it's all over. The full and immediate release of all Iranian funds and financial assets frozen abroad. The complete removal of all economic sanctions imposed on Iran, along with guarantees that they will not be reimposed in the future. Then Israel must withdraw its forces from the Lebanese territory. And 7, a clear and enforceable commitment from Israel to respect any ceasefire and end all violations against Lebanon. So those are possibly, I don't know if that's confirmed, but those are a possibility of the lists of demands that Iran will have to have agreed to before they open the Strait of Hormuz ever again. And they might continue just bombing Israel indefinitely. So here is an Iranian, I'll have to translate this for you in real time, which is going to be super annoying. But here's an Israeli military spokesman reiterating these points, okay, today. Let us firmly reiterate that we will never allow even a single liter of oil to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Never, for the benefit of America, the Zionists, or their partners. Any vessel or oil shipment intended for America, the Zionist regime, or their hostile allies will be a legitimate target for us. Their strategy of hiding behind Iran's neighboring countries and the Muslims of the West Asia region and even the world has expired. The tactic of your cowardly military hiding in public places and infrastructure in the region cannot save your forces from the quagmire in which you are trapped. Your vital centers and bases are burning one after another in the fire you ignited, and they will continue to burn again and again. We consider the blood of our martyred leader and the great commander of the Islamic Ummah to be a definitive rejection of any passivity. Our policy of reciprocal strikes has ended, and we now pursue a policy of strike after strike until you are fully punished and regret your actions. For once, be honest, stop pretending to be heroes, and admit your defeats throughout American history and since the cursed inception of the Zionist regime. Say it out loud and acknowledge your mistake. You have repeatedly referred to the presence of your naval forces in the region's waters. The one time you dared to come closer, you retreated in the face of Iran's missile power. From the very first day of your aggression, we have been waiting for you to prove that your cowardly military is far smaller than what you count on. You must understand that you will be able to artificially lower the price of oil. You will not be able to artificially lower the price of oil and energy. With the expansion of war in the region, we have announced that you should prepare for $200 per barrel because the price of oil depends on security in the region, and you are the source of insecurity. There you go. So that's an official announcement from the IRGC. $200 a barrel. So they're going to keep the Strait of Hormuz closed indefinitely, and we have no plan for how to open it. Our military is scared. They retreated the first day of the war. The Navy retreated the first day of the war. They're 700 kilometers away from Iran right now, and totally and afraid to go anywhere near the Strait of Hormuz because they'll get hit. Here is their spokesman talking about what's going to happen if we're going to destroy infrastructure, which is what we're threatening now. We're threatening to go after their infrastructure now if they act badly. But that would go against our goal of regime change because we don't want to hurt their country, which is why we got mad at Israel for bombing the oil facilities, is if we hurt their country and their people, the people are much more likely to support the regime. So this is what's going to happen to us if we do that. Let's see.
They want to destroy Iran's key infrastructure. That's a possibility. But then Iran will destroy all key infrastructure in this region. Everything. All the oil and gas installations in the Persian Gulf region and in the Caucasus will be gone, finished. They won't be damaged, they'll be destroyed. And that will mean that the key infrastructure of the United States will collapse. The world will collapse because we will enter a severe global economic depression. If that's what the United States wants, that's what it will get. But the world will know that it's the United States that did this. It will know that the Zionists did this. It will know that Netanyahu did this. Because Iran does not want war. Iran does not want to expand the war. We want to live in peace. We want the rights of Palestinians and the Lebanese and the people of Syria to be restored.
There you go. That's what they want. It wasn't their fault. So it's being reported by the Wall Street Journal that the Strait of Hormuz is open for Iran, and Iran is actually exporting more oil than ever. So the more the price of oil goes up, the better it is for Iran, which is still shipping oil. In fact, they're shipping even more oil than before the war started. That's being reported by the Wall Street Journal. And that China is buying it. So apparently that's failed too. They control the Strait of Hormuz and they control who goes through. We say we're blowing up a lot of their mining vessels, but they released a video that shows their underground tunnels full of boats and mines. So here's video, propaganda video they put out of all the boats that they have stored underground with mines. Ready to go.
انبوهی از شناورهای تخصصی هواپیمابر آمریکاست و حالا با ارتقای سنگین روی سیستم سلاح قایق‌های ذوالفقار و موشک‌های کروزش که مسلح شده به سرهای جنگی شدیدالانفجارتر، حالا 3 قایق ذوالفقار فقط به تنهایی می‌توانند یک ناو هواپیمابر دشمن را
می‌دهیم که جوانان برومند و رشید
I like their propaganda videos better than ours.
دریاها قادرند
So they've been preparing for this for a long time.
با هر استعدادی هماوردی شرافتمندانه
We destroyed their
و
navy.
پیروزمندانه رو انجام بدن.
فرمانده کل سپاه در بازدید از این پایگاه زیرزمینی نیروی دریایی سپاه میگوید حالا این نیرو توانایی مقابله با تهدیدات حتی خارج از خلیج فارس رو داره. به اینجا رسیده. فرمانده نیروی دریایی سپاه میگوید این نیرو اکنون توانایی انجام عملیات‌های طولانی مدت دریایی ضد ناوشکن‌های دشمن.
That's their video. They have lots of video like that of drones going for miles and miles underground and missiles going for miles and miles underground. So we haven't gotten rid of any of that. We can't. We struck a bank today. We hit a bank of their oldest, the country's oldest bank, full of employees, which apparently had, so we're hitting infrastructure. They say they're going to strike back. So I have that too. And this is what Trump threatened. If Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. Additionally, we will take out easily destroyable targets that will make it virtually impossible for Iran to ever be built back as a nation again. Death, fire, and fury will rain upon them, but I hope and pray that it does not happen. This is a gift from the United States to America to China and all of those nations that heavily use the Hormuz Strait. Hopefully, it is a gesture that will be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your attention to this matter. But the more we destroy Iran, the less chance we ever in the future of having regime change, because people are going to support the government that fights back against us if we keep doing things that are bad for the Iranian people. Because supposedly we did this because we were on the side of the Iranian people who want the government to go down. But they're going to like their government more and more the more they fight back against America. And there's nothing we can do that's good at this point. And then this was the breaking news about the drones. FBI has warned police departments in California that Iran wants to retaliate for American attacks by launching offensive drones against the West Coast, according to a alert reviewed by ABC News. So a lot of people are saying it might be time for a false flag. That's what people are saying. So that's your news update for today. I'll check my coffees. I don't think any came in today. You can always support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil. We didn't get any coffees during this live stream, but you can drop them anytime to support the show, especially if you'd like to see the show more often. We did 2 days in a row, and it went for an extended period of time. So that's your news update today from the war in Iran. We'll see if we can do news updates every day. I will do my best. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for your participation in the chat today. We will follow the news and we will try to continue to bring you updates. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Good to see you. Good to see you guys. How the fuck are these drones supposed to make it to the West Coast? Apparently they're going to be on boats. That's apparently they're going to be on boats that are near the West Coast. I don't know. That's what I heard. So we'll see. Thanks, everybody. All right, we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.